Hey, welcome everybody. Glad to have you on. I'm with my friend Ray today. Ray, welcome to the show.
Max, it's nice talking to you. I haven't seen you in so long. It seems like forever. I think I'd run into you like once every 6 months or so, but now I haven't seen you in over a year.
Maybe we'll see each other. Are you going to be at the thing in Phoenix in October?
I am, yeah.
Okay, well, I'll see you there and give you a big bear hug. Yeah, Ray's an amazing guy. And so so we're just like going to jump right in. So Ray, real quick for the folks who maybe don't know you yet, what, do you specifically do in, real estate to help people and make money?
Well, I do have a real estate license, but I mostly help friends and family. So I'll get like maybe around I'll do about 6 deals a year. And it's just mostly helping friends or family sell or move, whatever. That's not my main thing. Right now, the Virginia market is very hot. Anything under 400 is just moving within a week, typically, unless it's just a wreck. And then, they're waiting for someone else to come in and buy it.
Right. Okay, cool. All right. So, and then what about things that you do not involving your license?
Well, I've started this senior placement system, a company. So I do place seniors into homes. And homes are starting to open back up now, the big homes. And in Virginia, a lot of them are basing it off their vaccine levels. So now that they're above 75% vaccinated in the homes, you can go in. Of course, they check your temperature. They there's a hand washing station. They ask you all these questions before you can go in. But until recently, nobody could go into the homes, and some of the bigger homes weren't even accepting clients. So right now, these homes really want placement agents to help them place seniors in their homes.
Wonderful. And there's a lot of choices. So how do you help people? This is sort of a thing that you do once in a lifetime, or maybe, 2 or 3 times with your parents, maybe help with the friends and family or something like that. But it's not something that we're like doing every day. So how do you like help people navigate this journey? And what are the biggest things that can go wrong if somebody doesn't have, a trusted guide like you or somebody in their area?
Right. So the way I got involved in this whole thing was I used to sing at assisted living homes. And what would happen is I would go and I would sing with the clients. I would sing with the residents of the homes, and afterwards I would have conversations with them. After they got to know me, they started sharing their stories and telling me that this isn't the home that I would have gone to. Like, my daughter went to this website, and then all these people started calling her, and she just got overwhelmed and placed me in this home. And all my friends are right down the street, And then after a while, after hearing, you could hear the frustration in their voice. You could feel it. And then that became my, I didn't realize I would, by agreeing to play my guitar, that I'd find my calling, and that's what happened. So then I started wondering, how can I help these people? And the way I could help these people was to put them in the right home, from the get-go.
Right.
That's what I do. So the way I help people is more of a personalized approach. So I will talk to the family and the key decision makers. I want to get to know about, the resident, the senior, are they active? Are they not that active? They like to be left alone, and then from that, I'll kind of figure out, and of course, financials. But by knowing the personality, I know, do they want to go into a big home with a lot of activities, or do they want to just kind of be left alone, which is fine. It's just the home, I'm just trying to be the matchmaker and put this person in the right home. So that's what I've been doing. So yeah, so the mistake I see people doing is just Googling, and then they place their parent in the wrong home, or they just call me overwhelmed because they don't know what to do. And I'll get on a Zoom call. Most of the time, either they're upset or they're about to get upset, and then they spring a leak while we're talking. But most of the time when we're done, it's just going back to the basics, like setting that roadmap, like having the personalized roadmap for them, because there's so many options, but it's just letting them know what's good for their family, what's good for their senior. And, ultimately my goal is to put the senior into the right home.
Wonderful. Well, and so let me ask you, because you're talking to, these families every day, what percentage of them, or what percentage of like the actual planning have they actually done when they come to you versus, do a lot of people come and they don't have much of a plan at all? Can you kind of speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, like today on Facebook, I was reading that a friend of mine, and she had back surgery like last week, and then she had a stroke. And typically that's what happened. And then she said she couldn't walk, and then now with rehabilitation, she can walk a little bit. She can get up with the walker.
Sure.
Typically that's how it happens. something just happens. There's an event in someone's life, or a medical event, and they just have to spring into action. So the sad thing is that when they start reaching out to these homes, a lot of them, the salespeople, have to meet a quota. And so they're dealing with these stressful salespeople, kind of like when you look for a car. So when they call me, they're like, I'm so stressed out with dealing with these people, so a lot of people have not, yeah. And a lot of people have not planned. So they just feel like they're going to a car dealer and just getting swarmed by salespeople.
Yeah.
So,
And we've talked before offline, but I want you to share this tidbit with folks, because a lot of people don't know this, but you're, behind the scenes, so you can kind of tell us what's behind the curtain. The internet is an incredible tool, and it helps a lot of people, but it can also lead to a lot of information overwhelm. And like you said, sometimes getting connected without really even knowing it's going to happen to people who really aren't looking out for your best interests. So walk me through an example of what happens when people start submitting information online about trying to find their, parents, let's say, the right place to live, and then what can happen next that, they're not expecting.
Right. So a lot of times, you see these like very nice websites, and these people have, millions of dollars worth of money to throw at designers or whatever, web designers. And they have pictures of all of the homes. And then what happens is they don't have the price for the home. So then when you start looking and it says, hey, just put in your contact information. But in the fine print, which is not obvious, people don't know that they're agreeing to work with this placement agency or with this company. And then what they do is then they just take your phone number, disseminate it to all the like 20 to 30, assisted living homes or, nursing homes, independent care, whatever, in your area within like 20 miles. And then the family just starts getting bombarded with these phone calls. And I don't fault the other company. That's how they make their money, but it's not personalized at all. So then on the reverse side, then the client is just getting hounded with all these phone calls, and it's not a personalized match. It's just who's the better salesperson or who puts the stress on this poor family till they, make the decision.
And you bring up a good point, because there's nothing wrong with somebody there's some people who would see 20 people calling them all at once as a convenience, and that's okay. And there's nothing wrong with buying like that. But then there's another group of families that don't want that. Their privacy is really important to them. And especially when a family member is maybe in a compromised situation, that's like even more privacy. And so that's why I think, and there's a lot of great national agencies that do amazing things. We're not taking anything away from them. But what we're saying is that, there's difference between a lot of sales calls and a personalized approach. There's a difference between somebody trying to talk you into their option because that's the only option, and somebody who can show you lots of options. And the biggest one for me is there's just a difference between, you getting led and guided by somebody who lives in that community and actually knows the area and has met these people, because this is like a super important decision that unfortunately a lot of people get wrong, and you're on a mission to help more people get it right. So would you say that that's kind of a fair assessment of what happens in the business, or if you have anything else to add about that?
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. And a lot of these salespeople, it's not their fault. They work for the one home. It's their job to fill that house.
Right.
But the house isn't a fit for everybody. It's like going
Exactly.
to buy a pair of shoes. You're gonna look for your size, the style you like, the colors you like. You don't want just one size fits all, or just somebody to strap anything on you.
No.
And so, I take it from the other side where, it came more of a passion of helping these people that were put into the wrong homes.
Yeah.
Put them into the correct home, the home that fits, kind of like the matchmaker, more than, okay, this is why we're the best, and we have this, and I don't fault them. That is their job.
Yeah. It's just totally different. And so I look at it as sort of like, it's kind of like financial services. Like if you just want to go DIY and you want to do it yourself, there's nothing wrong with having a brokerage account with some big company, having low cost trades, and you're doing it all yourself. The problem is that the results, good or bad, totally fall on your shoulders. And if you're a stock market expert, it's great. But if you're not, you can really struggle. The other side is like having a financial advisor, somebody who actually is on the same side of the table as you. They're helping you. They're your expert, and they're walking you through this roadmap or journey. And a certain percentage of people just want to do stock trading transactional, and some people want to really have that trusted guide to help them. And I think it's the same way in your business. Is that folks, we're on this show, we're on a mission to help 1 million seniors and their families create a better roadmap, a better way to whether they're trying to sell their house, whether they're trying to move to an assisted living center, whatever. There's a ton of families that need help. They don't need salespeople. They don't need more information. They need, actual somebody to listen to them and build out a roadmap for them. And I think that you're doing a fabulous job of that. And I'm so glad that you're getting success with that. So I want to ask more about your book. So you've got a book. Congrats, by the way. Awesome. How do you distribute it to people? How do you use it as a tool to help people?
What I've been doing is right now I've been taking it to skilled nursing facilities. So all through COVID, you couldn't really go into these places because they were locked down, but you could go and knock on the door and leave it with the the concierge or the person at the front door and say, hey, I want this to go to the social worker or the discharge nurse.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would do a bag of goodies and then also throw a book or a couple of books in there and sign it. And then it was just so much easier making those phone calls, because I don't know about other people, but for me, it was kind of hard to make phone calls. It wasn't until COVID forced me to have to make phone calls. Yeah. I didn't want to do it.
Right.
But once I left on the book and like a good, like cookies or candy in the bag, whatever, my business cards, I would call them and they'd be so happy to talk to me. So that's the first thing. The other thing is on my website, I do offer the book to families. The family members can request a copy of the book, and it just helps them to start planning. The big thing, the plan is in the workbook. So they go through and fill out activities. A lot of times, the children want to hold on to the house because that's where they remember their Christmases, their Easter, birthday parties. And then they start, I say, okay, that's fine, but do me a favor, go through the budget, all right? So they start going through the budget and they're like, oh, the upkeep. Oh, I got to pay taxes on this. Oh, I'm going to have to get a new mortgage. You know what? Let's go ahead and sell it. And let's just use that to place mom and dad in a home. So I think it's good because mom and dad did pay for the house. And now that's going to be their tool to where they can be in comfort and, be taken care of. Because a lot of times, like through COVID, a lot of people did keep mom and dad home. And now they're starting to go into assisted living homes. They're like, I realize they're getting better care now. They feel good about it. They almost feel like a little bit of guilt for having kept them home, but nobody's lived through COVID before. You can't fault anybody for that. They're doing the best they could, right?
Well, that's good. So that's good to hear that if I'm understanding it correctly, and I've had the same experience. And I think a lot of the other people that, we work with across the country have had the same, which is, when you give somebody a book, they just kind of see you differently, and they appreciate. It's kind of the difference, like you said, between just a lot of high pressure sales and somebody who's just trying to give them the right information. And then the workbook's been a good tool to help families really, map that roadmap out. Well, that's cool. So I'm glad that it's a good tool and it's working.
Yeah. So one thing I didn't mention is like locally, there's an assisted living home, and you think they would be fighting, for competition, but they've been inviting the other assisted living homes to come. And they have like this weekly meetings and they're like, what are you doing? What are you doing that's working? And they're all sharing their ideas. Well, they've invited me. So when I go and I show up with my book, everybody wants to meet Ray. They're like, hey, Ray, and so they're having a meeting tomorrow. So I'm going to take at least 20 books. So
good.
Yeah, so there's going to be like 12 different assisted living homes, bigger homes in the area. And so I'm going to be passing out the book. Yeah, and then it does give you credibility. People will say, oh, you've written a book, so you must know what you're talking about. And I'm like, yeah, but it stemmed from, the heart. It stemmed from the calling, like to help people. But yeah, I do have a book.
Yeah, it's amazing how I've really been comfortable with the approach, and you have too. It just kind of fits our personality. But it's amazing how, and I've done, straight commission sales back at, in my previous life. And, it's about the pressure, and it's about, how effective your follow-up sequences are and all of this stuff. And it's like, you kind of have to do it because you're competing against all these other people that are doing that too. But for our house buying business and for your, referral business and your, real estate license business, it's a cool feeling to just be able to share what you're doing, attract the people that want to work with you, and get opportunities. Like I bet you that these sales folks that are at the other places, they're not getting invited, and it's like it's just opened up a lot of doors that weren't there before. And have you found that when you give people your book, you had already said it's easier, it makes it easier just to start the next conversation. They seem to be a lot more receptive when they're talking to you. Have you also noticed that they seem to remember you longer and kind of keep your information around?
Yeah, so when I do call back, like sometimes if I can't call back that week, I'll call back the following week. They'll know exactly who they're talking to.
Mhm.
They can speak the lingo with me. I'm not just a salesperson.
Right.
And actually the people I'm dealing with, I'm not selling them anything.
Right.
I'm helping them. So when these discharge planners, when they have to discharge people, sometimes it's like they have like a day, that same day, or sometimes the next day, or they have 2 days. So I'm like, I can't help you with everybody, but if you have seniors, give me a call. I can help you out. I can help place them.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
in some of these homes, we can get them in the same day. So when they realize I'm not selling anything, I've given them a book, a lot of, they reach back out to me. They talk to me as if I'm on their level. I don't get talked down to, and I don't feel like I'm a salesperson to anybody.
Exactly.
I'm the helper of the family. I'm the helper of the people from skilled nursing or places having to place people into homes.
That's so cool. Yeah, I'm so glad to hear that things are really going well, and they're good. And you've been in our local expert program for now going on almost 2 years. Is it something that you would recommend to somebody else? If there's a real estate investor that wants to try to serve their area, their community in a totally different way, would you recommend the program to them?
Yeah, I would. So as working real estate agent, when I was doing it full time, I
Hmm.
would have this conversation with like almost everybody like once a year and say, hey, I got a senior and I don't know what to do with them. Like, the family's saying, hey, can you go place mom in a home? But as a real estate agent, you're not trained on placing somebody in a home or making that match or knowing what to do.
Right.
So, they kind of just kind of just let it fall off the table or whatever. Maybe they want to help sell the home, but that's it. They're not really helping mom or dad.
Right.
So,
Good.
yeah, I feel like this, I'm actually able to help.
Good. And I know that you've taken some other training. You have your senior real estate specialist. What's different about that training, which I know is comprehensive? A lot of people have it. It's really good. What's different about that training versus the training that we use, to help you distribute your book to these seniors? What's similar and what's different? I'm just curious because I don't have that designation yet.
Right. So when you take the class, you kind of watch it online and they go through and they tell you who all the people that you can, in your neighborhood that, you know, like your pastors and, the people at the hospitals where they tell you to go to certain people and talk to them and start building, your pipeline.
Right.
But with you guys, you actually show us how to do things. Like you have videos and then you have different training that is not in the weekly class. You'll create a training, and the one that I like is the Facebook training, to
Hmm.
where you can then target in your neighborhood. It's not like just Google, like it goes out to the whole world, right?
Sure. Sure.
Where, you train us how to target, like geofence or geo target our own neighborhoods,
Hmm.
how to send out, whether it's a video or some type of
Yeah.
message to people.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I feel like when I've been taught, I've done a lot of different programs and they teach you how to build a pipeline, but it's like, build it with what? Just like a lot of phone calls that busy people don't want to take. Like, how is that help? Like, how is that really helpful? They're like, well, if you're not getting a lot of answers because the people don't want to talk to you, just call more. And it's like, I've never understood marketing where it's not working very good, so you do more of it. And to me, that stems from lack of options. And what I found is, and I think you're finding that too, is that when we lead as the trusted expert, not just another dime a dozen real estate agent or placement firm online, the conversation is totally different. And it's interesting. I found in our market, and I was wondering, we'll kind of wrap up with this question. I wonder if you found the same thing. it like doesn't, with direct mail and like when you're just a salesperson, it's a numbers game. And you literally have to reach a billion people to get one to say yes. It's like a big game fish where you're spending 4 hours trying to wrestle them on the boat. But with this share and attract method, it's like you're letting people know who you are. And if you get in with the right couple of facilities, the right couple of relationships, it can open up a lot of business, a lot of opportunity to help people, which turns into money for us too, which, we can want to make, have a profitable business too. Have you noticed the same thing, that a few key relationships has so much like magnification?
Yeah, I think that's what I'm getting to now. It's like, like through a certain homes, I'm getting more, through certain resources, I'm getting a lot more clients.
Mm-hmm.
And then they like to refer them to me because they know that they're well taken care of.
Right.
On the other end, it's also helping the clients when I'm just the guide, but they've made the decisions. They're the superhero. They get to go tell all their friends what they did, which is fine, but they still recommend me to the next people. They say, this is what I did, but I use this guy, Ray, give him a call. So I just want to be that guy, the helper, the guy.
Yeah, you're awesome at it.
That's what I've always wanted to do, and I kind of feel like I finally just found my niche. Like I finally found my calling. It's working. I didn't start this for the money, and I'm not, but it has been rewarding. I did leave. I left Microsoft when I started following my dream, my calling, which is to help seniors, and I feel like this is more rewarding than Fortune 500 ever was for me. With the feel good factor and financially.
100%. Yeah. And I worked for a big company like that too. And I feel the same way. I didn't have nearly as much, satisfaction as when I would just, take my grandma to bingo and stuff like that. And then working with these senior homeowners is awesome. For me, the light bulb didn't really go off until, I became a full-time real estate investor, and, I was making a good living, and I'm hanging out with my friends, and they all have, CPAs. We all have, tax planning attorneys and stuff like that. And I would see that, and we'd be talking about that kind of stuff on the weekends. And then I come back on Monday, and I'm buying a house from, Mavis, who was, a bus driver for 30 years and has a little pension and has some Social Security. And most of her net worth is in their home, like you said from the example earlier. And it's like, they don't have a lot of wiggle room. They can't make a big mistake and it turn out well. And sometimes their family's helping them, but sometimes their families are moochers, and they had so many educational gaps. And so being able to hand them a how-to book and map it out, I just realized there's this huge group of seniors, which we know is the fastest growing demographic in the United States. So it's great to be where, the trends are headed, and a lot of people are going to need help, a lot of people. And so many of those folks, irregardless of income, don't have a plan. They don't have a clear path. And so folks like you in the future, it's like every day that goes by, your services become just more and more valuable. So that feels good that we can be helping people, and, it'd be like a really good time to do that. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah. I see the same exact thing. Yeah, we have the 10,000 people a day turning 65, and like 4,000 people a day turning 85. So we have this huge wave of people that actually need this help now, and we've never seen it before, where there's more seniors than children, and that's where we're at. Like I remember, like as a kid, hearing about the baby boomers, like it made no sense, right? And then now we're seeing this tide turn, and there's the need for seniors and this need for care.
Yeah.
And then also the realization that those people have most of the real estate wealth in the world. So we're just helping, we're helping guide them, and hopefully, like you said, like sometimes the families do try to mooch. I have had people say, well, let's just put them in the cheapest home possible, but very few times, but you feel so bad for those people, because that mom or dad bought that house maybe for $40,000, and now it's worth $500,000 or more. And this is their nest egg. This is what they bought it for.
100%. Well, anybody who lives within 100-mile radius of you is lucky and truly blessed, and hopefully has found you now if they're watching this. So who do you serve, And what's the best way to people to, you know, reach out to you and contact you if they need some help, you know, with their family and they want to plug into some of your resources?
Well, I mostly just serving in Virginia, but I am going to start reaching out to DC and Maryland and kind of
Mhm.
expand some and maybe go a little bit further south, like towards Richmond way.
Okay.
But the easiest way is my website is Family Senior Solutions, all one word, .com. So FamilySeniorSolutions.com.
Okay,
And
cool.
then from my website, there is my phone numbers on there, and my contact information. They can schedule a meeting with me from that. So there's a place where they can schedule a meeting with me. And
Cool.
that's how I meet most people. We do like a 15-minute call, and then after that, we can schedule another call, with more time. And most of the time, through that, people realize that they're not alone, because what people get put into this box, it's always something that snaps on them. The whole mom or dad getting sick or falling and breaking a hip, and then they don't have a lot of time to make these decisions. So then finding someone that will go through and make the decisions with them does relieve a lot of that stress. So
Yeah.
I get them like high stress, and typically when we're done with the Zoom meeting, a lot of the stress is gone. So and that feels good for me.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I feel the same way. So one question I get asked a lot, and we'll close down with this one, we're running out of time, is when is a good time for a family to reach out to you? Like at what point in the process? Is it too soon? I mean, I don't think it would ever be too late as long as people are still alive and they need somewhere to live. But like, what's like the ideal timing of when somebody can reach out to you and like receive the full value?
I mean, they're welcome to reach out as soon as they start retiring, because a lot of that time they're going to start being asked about, long-term, healthcare insurance. A lot of times people think, oh, that's too much. What is that? And they don't even get it.
Right.
So like you said, it's never too early and it's never too late. Like you can call me whenever.
Okay.
Hopefully people will start calling as soon as they retire, just to get, to start setting those wheels in motion.
Yeah.
It's always like an event, like, and you're never, having with my dad, he had a stroke one night, and things were, haven't been the same, but you never know. It's unexpected. And so it's better to prepare as soon as possible. I would say as soon as retirement, I would ask people to start reaching out to me, maybe even before that when they're planning for retirement.
Yeah, and I agree. I echo what you're saying, because we did the same thing with my mom. We use everything in the book too, and we got her some long-term care insurance when she was around 60, and it was still pretty super affordable. But you start trying to get it really late, it can go up, because it's actuarial tables and all that stuff. So, and that stuff's all in your book, so people can read that and learn about it and understand what's going on, and then you can connect them to the right people, because you already have a list of those folks. So yeah, definitely reach out to Ray. Give us that website one more time.
It's FamilySeniorSolutions.com.
FamilySeniorSolutions.com. Perfect. Well, hey, we'd love to have you back on for an update. Does that sound good?
It's been great, man. It was nice catching up with you.
Yeah, you too. You too. Yeah, it sounds like you're just absolutely crushing it. It's so cool to be, doing good and doing well at the same time. And I'm glad that your book is opening up some new relationships and new and better conversations, because it's like, when we go to work, we want to get paid for our work because we're helping people, but we don't want work to be a chore. We don't want work to start dreading work and dreading how we're going to reach these people. And you're really showing that you can have both. So awesome job. Kudos. And until next time, thanks everybody for checking this out. And if you like this video, you can just check out some of our other videos. And until then, have a great day. Be well, be blessed. Bye.